Matt, really interesting fight on a card headlined by Pedro Munhoz taking on Frankie Edgar at 135 pounds because we have two guys making their UFC debuts. We have Mark Mugen Striegl taking on Timur Valiev. Lucky is the nickname, and he's lucky to draw a short notice replacement, or we can call it replacement, but really short notice fight here, as Timur Valiev was originally scheduled to make his UFC debut at 145 pounds against Jamal Emmers. Now, we saw what Emmers was able to do against a short notice opponent in his fight. Valiev, we actually picked him to win over Jamal Emmers, so a bit of a surprise there. We know that Valiev is a really, really sneaky fighter. He can get it done in all different aspects of the fight, so I think what we'll do right now, we'll throw it over to our prediction in that Valiev fight against Emmers, because I think a lot of that holds true in this one. So, let's throw it over there. For Valiev, this is UFC debut. A lot of North American fans might be familiar with the style and the name value because he fought with World Series as well as the PFL. Now, he spent a little bit of time away. He's had his last two fights with Guerrilla Fighting Championships, but I think this is a really good opportunity for him to finally break through with the UFC. And like I said, that name value, he's a guy that's trained out of Mark Henry's gym in New Jersey, training partners the likes of Edson Barboza in the past, but mainly Frankie Edgar and Zabit Magomedsharipov. And in addition to Mark Henry to kind of work out that striking, you have Ricardo Almeida to belt under. And I really think it plays to a good advantage for Valiev in this. This is like an international man of mystery because he's been away for a bit. He's such a big favorite, or I would say a fairly big favorite, making his UFC debut. Yeah. But let's break it down even further because his last loss was in 2016 in the spring, where he lost a split decision to Chris Gutierrez. Later on in the year, avenges that loss. What else does he have going for him? 6-fight win streak. He's a master of sport in Sambo, as well as an international master of sport in pankration. Oh, by the way, he's a wushu guy. Matt, who else is a wushu guy?
Jackie Chan.
Lots of people into wushu, but Timur Valiev, what he really brings into this is the fact that if it were to go to the ground, you would almost favor Valiev. Oh. But in the striking exchanges, this guy's lightning fast. The only thing that I would worry about is will it carry into maybe some of the later rounds, but I think he's going to have a little bit of an advantage. And now we'll bring it back. And Mark Striegl coming in here, 18-2 with 1-0 contest. Really nice record. He's got a win in that entire body of work over Kai Kara-France from about 6 years ago. First round rear naked choke win there. He's fought decent competition. Fought over with URCC. He's their featherweight champion. His last fight, a no contest against UFC level competition, where he was fighting the likes of Sunichi Shimizu. So it ended no contest, illegal blow in that one. This guy, what you need to know is the fact that even recently, he was on the Filipino national team. He's a Sambo champion. You know exactly what you're going to get. If you want to go to his fight that he had to win that belt with URCC against Do Guillaume Lee, it was a great trip takedown where he had him really kind of pushed up, landed the trip, gets on top, and gets the submission finish. So you kind of know what you're going to get out of Mark Striegl. He's had a lot of impressive fights. He's a southpaw, which brings an added element into this fight. But yeah, I mean, overall, well-rounded. 14 of his 18 wins are by submission, the other 4 by decision. You know the aspect from Striegl. You know what you're going to get out of Valiev. Here's where it gets really funky. Valiev in this one, a -480 favorite. Striegl coming into his UFC debut, +365 underdog. This is a guy that traveled to Vegas back in July just to hopefully get a chance in the UFC.
Dedicated.
And hey, if you fly to Vegas, you have a good shot at making the UFC. I mean, we saw that with Kai Kamaka III taking on Tony Kelly. Kamaka gets a big win after having a win in LFA. Striegl does the same thing. Big opportunity here. Matt, how do you see this one?
So, Striegl, to have a prospect come into the UFC at 18-2 is absolutely ridiculous because you don't normally see guys with a, not to say padded, but just with an extensive body of work, because the main question mark behind a lot of guys coming in is, oh, are they going to be ready for it? Well, when you're 18-2, there's not a lot that you're not ready for. But here's the problem. He's fighting Timur Valiev, and I see, like, this isn't going to go his way. Valiev is a huge favorite for a reason. He's much more well-rounded, and if the fight even does go to the ground, which is Striegl's strong suit, I don't really see Valiev having so much of an issue on the ground. I think we'll be able to watch really any threat of a submission or any sort of sweep or whatnot if he's able to get on top. He should be able to kind of pick apart Striegl in the striking, I think, at least. I'm pretty high on Valiev, though.
Yeah, I'm really high on Valiev as well. It might be a fight that you stay away from just because those odds are insane. A -480 on a guy making his UFC debut. I know Valiev was a huge prospect coming out of WSOF and the PFL, and it's a great opportunity for Striegl here as well to at least get that UFC contract signed. You have all that experience in your back pocket and a great discipline and background in Sambo. But again, odds stacked against them in terms of the Tapology votes out of 169. 93% backing Timur Valiev, 73% by decision. You agree with that? I agree with that. Both going with Timur Valiev. Really looking forward to this fight, including our main event, an extended look there between Pedro Munhoz and a tough out in Frankie Edgar. You're not going to miss that. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, Matt. And as we always say, let's get into it.